8 rounds to go. Round 19's in the books, and we move ahead to round 20 with all of the major buys in the books there, as I said, and 3 teams on the buy in this one. So still plenty to navigate in this one to try and get the full 17 on the park. It could be just as hard as last week to get that full complement of players there. And the People's Squad, we were sitting in a really, really good spot coming into that last game with 3 players remaining and sitting in about 1250 overall rank. And unfortunately, with Osako getting 34, we had 36 from Valence, which is about, I suppose, what we'd hope or expect. And then Lemuelu getting the 45. So a little bit low on that front, and if they get somewhere in the 40s each, or 50 for one of them, and then we're well entrenched in the top 1,000, which is where I thought we were going to end up. But a 697, not the worst score in the world, obviously there, with Simkin getting 26, obviously being a little bit lower than that of Hands and Jacob Little and these types of things, these types of players there. Not super good. Hopgood, DeBellin, and Harris seem to be the correct mids for this round. Had Bateman without Isaiah Papali'i, which was good. Preston, the 44, was average on that front, and obviously played 1 short there. Not having any of those, the gun cheapy fullbacks in Seb Chris or a Blake Taff or something like that kind of slowed us down a little bit. But yeah, that's where we're at. So sitting at 1,131 heading into next week is a really good spot. We obviously end up using all our trades. We get the full 8 allotment, a little bit of cash in the bank, and yeah, you're looking at our interchange there with Ponga, Moses, Grant, Sandon Smith. Hopefully he keeps his spot. It sounds like he will, which is really great news there. We've got Ruben Garrick, Fisher Harris, Payne Haas, who's out, unfortunately. That's going to hurt a little bit. And then Joey Manu as well. The big win here is that we don't have Horsburgh or Tarpany, are going to be out this week as well. So it really just looks like we're missing Payne Haas and also Jack DeBellin in this one. We won't be needing a mid, I should say, which is really helpful. We don't have to force trade in, a player like that, which is cool. And other than that, we should be able to get a really solid 17 on the park. If we're lucky, we won't have to play Simkin, which is probably the one we don't want to. In terms of centres, we have Manu coming back, so maybe we can leave out Valence or we leave out Lemuelu, something like that. And the Osako one's a little bit of a tough one at the moment, just with his scoring the last few weeks. So we brought him in for a negative 40, off his price, and then a 34 this week. And you're looking forward at him, and hopefully he can get back to those top scores. But yeah, with the Dolphins not playing as well as they once were, it's a little bit frustrating. We'll have to wait and see what they do with their outside backs. Does Val keep his spot as well in that centre position? But other than that, everyone else looks really safe in their role. Sandon Smith, it sounds like, with Sam Walker likely to have another couple of weeks on the sidelines recovering from his knee injury. Does sound like Brandon Smith will be back, so how that works with someone like Turpin, not that we have him, but for those that are watching this video as well. So that's the People Squad at the moment. Not too much else to report there. We're getting closer to the head-to-head final, so in the next one I'll go through where we're at there, but we are in the top 4 pretty comfortably. The Community Cup, and actually I'll have to have a good look at and see how many people are still, how many of the groups are still playing in that one there. Okay, we turn to my squad and ended up at 720, and I think there was a little bit of an issue with bench players not being counted if they were looped or something like that. So I was actually sitting at rank 99, which is what I was hoping for. Coming into the last round, I think last game I was 80th, and I was like, well, if I can stay at if I get to 99, I'll be happy, and end up at 99 all the way, and got out to 101 now, which is a little bit frustrating, but we're still in a great spot, and it's going to be crazy to see some of the rankings of some people and how impressive that's been, because I have had a really good year, obviously, and some people are just, another 100, 150, 200 points ahead, just been very, very, very good. So I ended up having the 13 players, and that's what helped me get to the 720. Obviously, having Blake Taft 65 was great. Did have Isaiah Papali'i's 30, which wasn't so great. Hands at 34 was fine. Obviously, Johnson and Nico was good there, but Will Penasini with 16, and also Chance Nickel Hookstad there with 27. Didn't really help our cause at all, unfortunately. And just led to us just being a little bit down on where I wanted to be. I was hoping to sort of sneak into the top 90 or top 80, something like that, if a couple of those players did well. But I suppose I was definitely not expecting that from Taff. So take the good with the bad. You put Taff and Penasini together, that's 81 points, and a 40 from each. You'd take every day of the week, or a 50 from Penasini and a 30 from Taff. So think of it that way. There, we got pretty lucky on that front. Okay, moving on to next round is where it gets obviously really important, and I did end up saving 1 trade there, which is cool. So I have 9 now with the 8 extra, and 585 in the bank, so plenty of room to move. And Some moves I was thinking of was obviously Blake Taft to go up, considering I have Val as a cheapie and also Hands. We will have to see what happens with team list, but he's definitely a guy that we could move. Jake Turpin also another one on the list that we'd be looking to move on. And we do need a mid this week. Obviously, clearly looking at someone like David Fafita, but that may have to wait, and we may have to go for an Isaiah Yeo. Actually heard TK and Brenton talking about Max King, which I thought was a very cheeky option, hoping that he's back into some good form and playing some big minutes like he has been. But really, we're hoping for a couple of guys to get through Origin there. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing with Robson. Someone like Harry Grant's going to be a clear option there. It's going to depend how many minutes that Robbo plays on Wednesday night as to what I think I'll do with him, because if he's going to be a big minute guy, he will be managed a little bit in that backup game. And it sounds like over this period he's going to be managed a little bit either through the week or in a backup type of game like this. And you see with Cook as well that he's been getting some lesser minutes and Havili starting and then Cook's coming off the bench. And I actually think there's a good chance of that continuing. So if you do own Cook, he obviously has a bye following this round. But that's just something to think of going forward. And really, as we said last week, the Harry Grant is the clear guy on top in hooking stocks. And then you've got a mixture of Robson and these types of players there. Blake Brayley had a good one on the weekend, but Brendan Hands as a backup, that kind of thing. So, over the next few weeks, we're looking at Harry Grant, we're looking at Dave Fafita, we're looking at a Haas, or potentially an Isaiah Yeo this week. It could be a Maxi King just to get a mid in at a slightly cheaper price that has that 50 upside in him and being priced really low, just under the 40 mark. So, there's a bunch of things to do. Obviously, Manu will come straight back in for Val. If everything goes right, I won't have to play Val this week. If Moses comes back and plays, then him and Penasini together is going to be much better than Penasini with Ryan Madison there. Ponga comes back in. Teddy comes back in, hopefully, as I said, and Drinkwater as well. So if I am having traded out Cook last week, helps me with numbers for this week. And if I do trade Taff as well, we're looking at a pretty good set of numbers there. That's for sure, with Jack DeBellin being out. And Horsburgh, if I do trade out Taff. So that'll leave me with 19 and the ability to potentially, only play all the guns and not have to play like either Val and Hands. If I can miss out on both of them and try and loop one of them, that could be really cool. Because I think a really good score this week is going to put us in good stead. If you can get as many of those top guns in as possible, as quickly as possible, especially, then it's going to go a long way for you to really achieve well in this next couple of weeks. And as I said in the previous video, where's the max trade gang at? It's be hopefully good to see. Be interesting to see how many views pick up as well from people that are coming back in with some trades on that front. But like as I say, guys, really the clear thing now is to be going for as many of those top guns as possible. A few people asked me to talk about head-to-head strategy as well. Obviously, with in the next few weeks, you're leading up towards your finals, so a lot of your default settings will be 23, 24, 25, 26. So just being aware of which teams have a bye on those weeks. You also might look at your comp and go, oh, okay, I'm first or second. I'm going up against 7th or 8th, and I should be able to win that fairly comfortably. So maybe you do hold on to a couple of guys that do have a bye in that round 23. You're looking at Bulldogs in that one. Is that right? They're 23 or 24, one of the two. In that one. So you're looking at a couple of those players, from those weeks and go, oh, am I going to be able to get through that week with those players? If you're looking at bringing in players in the next few weeks, and maybe you don't look at bringing in a Payne Haas because he's going to have a bye in round 25, I believe. So, something to think about. Again, just check, guys. Those later ones I haven't got locked in my mind. I had everything up to about round 22, I believe, with the Warriors. And then from there, I know we've got the Dogs left. We've got Broncos, Eels, Cowboys, something in there somewhere. So, someone will tell me in the comments anyway who's left on that one, with the Eels at the end, obviously, and South second last. So, so head-to-head strategy, obviously just making sure that you're getting the right guns. You want to get the best guns in each position, but those that actually play in the specific weeks that you need them for. Just obviously, keep an eye on that one for sure in there. People asking about Tohu Harris early, as if he's a potential buy still. Just remember he has a buy in a couple of weeks in round 22. So is he a purchase? Yeah, for sure, he could be, but he did come off with a bit of an injury on the weekend. So keep that in mind. He has a tougher assignment this week, but still should be able to score fairly well. I think he's going to be in that 50s, 50 to 60 range pretty much every week, to be honest with you. On the lower weeks, it'll be 50. On the high weeks like this, when he gets a try assist, and some good run meters and tackle breaks and stuff, he's going to go higher and get you a 60. So, yeah, who else we got? Isaiah Papali'i, people are going to be looking at. I just think you need to wait on him. Hopefully he can bounce back and score a good one next week. But if over the next few weeks you have a multitude of edges, if you've brought back Fafita and stuff like that, and you've got 4 of them or something like that, and Papali'i isn't performing super well, and you can straight swap him to a Harry Grant, or you can get in a gun half, like if he's a stepping stone to get you to Cleary or something like that. That's another thing to look at. Cleary is obviously another option potentially in the next few weeks. So if you're a Cogger holder, hopefully Cleary's not there. If you're not ready to get Cleary in your side, again, hopefully he's not there this week because they play the Dolphins, I believe. It's going to be very, very interesting out there. If you're in need of a centre this week, you've got guys like Isaac Tungo who are going to do a really, really good job. And if you don't have any of those top scorers in each of the positions and you're a bit short or you don't have the cover, then they're the players you want to be targeting. And just making sure that, as I said, looking forward to those weeks over the next bunch where if you do, obviously the hooking position, you're looking at making sure that you can cover that position if someone goes down or if that person has a bye. So obviously if you have the Grant and the Hands combo, you're not worried about a bye all the way through to round 27 and you're likely Grant's going to be playing. So it's not really going to hurt you. But, in other positions, if you just have 3 mids and, this week there's an injury. This week there's two guys on the bye. That's something you need to think about. If you have, Madison and Hopgood in round 27, that's going to be really hard to cover for sure because they're both in the same position or mid and edge. And it's definitely something to think about. So that's really all I want you to look at over the next few weeks, next few days, guys. We've got team lists coming out, obviously, but really that's going to help a little bit. But what's really going to help is what happens post Origin and how many minutes guys like Fafita get, how many minutes Harry Grant gets, and if all of these guys are going to be backing up as to what trades you need to make this week. Let's leave it at that, guys, and we'll jump in tomorrow and get into a little bit of a video surrounding some of those targets. And then I think we'll be back with Scoop on Thursday because we don't have games until Friday. And a big thank you to all you guys that gave a lot of nice feedback. For Matty, who jumped on last week, was able to help us out. And he had a solid week. I think he went back a little bit, but still firmly in the top 60 or so and doing really well. So, thanks again. We'll catch you in the next one.